Bomgu. Oh, I literally said Bomgu's name wrong like 5 times in the last video I did, and now I can't say it still. Hi everyone, my name is Elena, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the TU content. I'm going to be looking at Subin's questioning film. Video-wise, this was the first TU content, but the first TU content we got was actually the pictures, where it said TU in the corner and they had different colors. I literally talk about these pictures all of the time. I don't know what the colors mean, but they were released 2 yellows, the 2 reds, and then Bomgu was last and his was orange. Using those colors, the order is yellow, part red. I'm calling Kai part red because he's got stripes. Orange, part yellow, and then red. So it kind of is like, it goes from like the strongest color to the medium color to the strongest color again. This is also the order in which they poked their heads out in the intro video with all of them, which was really cute. And in this video, I'm going to be referencing a lot of general information about the TU. I'll explain it, but I did do a more detailed video on this. If you wanted to watch that, it's going to be, I don't know, the card thing, which is somewhere in a corner. Before I continue, if you do like this kind of stuff, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because I'm going to be breaking down every single one of the questioning videos, and pretty much everything that has to do with the TU, actually. I'm doing them in parts though, because it's gonna be way too long. I'm not doing another 40-minute video. I can't do it. No. Anyways, let's go. So the first one we'll be covering is Subin, as you probably already know from the title of this video, and the whole like sequence in the questioning films is like kind of feeling very dream-like. And I think that's really intentional. I think everything in these videos is symbolic in a way, not necessarily meant to be taken at face value, as in you have to look for like the deeper meaning in things. It is important to note that even though I consider right now the questioning films to be in a dream-like state, it's possible that it's not. We've gotten a VCR in one of the concerts that shows this. It's possible that Nap of a Star is the dream or the story or whatever. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, let's just get on with it, and let's start this video. So if you've watched the questioning videos, which I kind of assume you have, you'll notice that the flowers are a very recurring theme in every single one of the videos. If you see flowers in a dream, this can indicate that you will encounter happiness in life. To see a bunch of flowers is symbolic of spirituality and perfection. Your dream could be an expression of joy, love, and being content in life. Flowers may also denote a specific season or period of time in life. This is really uplifting. I think the ultimate ending will, of course, be happiness for the members. The whole questioning videos feel like very calming as well, so being content in life makes sense. So what do we see when we first look at the video? Subin's wearing white, and we see Delphiniums right off the top. So let's look into the meaning of Delphiniums in the language of flowers. I'm analyzing the meanings from both English and Korean, by the way, because obviously TXT is from Korea, and thus their research and their standpoint is from a Korean point of view. So I was observing what tends to come up most often in English and also in Korean. It is difficult to tell where they're even getting their information from, because I'm not big hit. So I am going to be going over what I found in both languages with my rudimentary Googling skills. I can't even say Google. Delphiniums in English are a cheerful plant, sometimes used to say, "I'll protect you," and giving one to someone means that you hope that they'll have success in reaching their goals. In Korean, the general meaning seems to be similar, with "I'll make you happy" as an accepted meaning, though I've also seen it mean, when gifted to someone, "Why do you hate me?" Though that could be a weird translation. even though it does kind of fit the theme of the story, which I'll talk about in a bit. Also, Delphiniums can repel parasites, such as lice, and are known to ward off scorpions. In fact, keeping away scorpions was their original purpose, besides being used as a clothes dye. From a symbolic standpoint, it's possible that in relation to the TU, this means that Subin might be able to ward off danger simply by being there. Alternatively, you could choose to look at it as if you need that flower to ward off the danger that Subin is in, or that he's in danger instead. But from what the rest of the flower's meaning is, like, it makes sense that he is the thing that will protect others, since that's literally the meaning of the flower. He will protect you and make you happy. The meaning, why do you hate me, fits too, especially with crown and the imagery in Nap of a Star, since they're talking about people disliking them just because they're different. The colors of the Delphiniums here are blue and white, and the blue color in Delphiniums symbolize dignity. White symbolizes youth and renewal, and a youthful feel is what the group is literally known and advertised for, so this makes sense. Next, we see him sitting in a clearing surrounded by flora. These flowers here are most likely a type of Symbolism, which is a part of the orchid family. I believe that this type of orchid is actually dubbed the angel feather orchid. Totally possible that I'm wrong on that, because like there are literally thousands of types of orchids, and I got tired of looking at pictures of them. They're really difficult to identify, and this like image isn't even really in focus, so you can't really see the flowers up close. So they do appear to be white or like light pink in color though, and in general, white flowers mean purity or innocence, and in general, pink also conveys a sense of purity, along with happiness and gracefulness. This might represent that at their heart, they are innocent as long as they remain where they are. And I'm mentioning they because all of TXT actually has this exact shot. Speaking of this shot, we actually see two angles. The left side is a view from on top, like kind of showing us Subin's surrounding, and then the other one we see Subin looking through like the bush. Also, it's important to note that Subin is dressed in white as well. White in general means the same thing all around. Also, many people have theorized that, like I said, this could be some sort of dreamlike state, and we're seeing things in a dream instead. So some of the stuff coming up that I talk about, I'm going to examine what it means to see in a dream. Dreams about flowers symbolize beauty, compassion, pleasure, kindness, and gains. And they're all symbols of spirituality. A dream about flowers might be an expression of your love, happiness, and joy. Flowers might signify your feelings of happiness about something beautiful. Tales about flowers like Delphiniums, just probably because they aren't as commonly known as something about like roses or something. So if I don't mention it specifically, that's why. So after listening to that, there's another explanation. When he's surrounded by other flowers, his friends, perhaps, he is happier and more at ease. I also want to comment again on the camera angles, since it's like we can see him from two different places, which is really interesting to me. Like we're sort of spying on him or something, and he's looking at us like we are something new or interesting. I've mentioned this in the past, but part of me thinks that the TU will actually have the viewers or the audience be a part of the story, since they spend a lot of time looking at us. And there's other reasons as well, like the cat in Nap of a Star, but also the fact that we just see two things at once, like from totally different points of views. Of course, Subin could also just be looking at what we see next, which brings us to the next scene. In this scene, we see a praying mantis on an orchid. This also keeps that split screen, like two-shot look effect. These have long been suspected to represent something about the boys, since it's totally out of place. Like, why are we seeing a praying mantis? To me, the fact that Subin is looking out of his safe space at the mantis is actually really significant, because there's something about this mantis that he sees and he maybe even likes. And I think it's actually the hearing of a mantis. Yeah. The hearing of a mantis. You heard that right. This is really weird at first, because what? I didn't know that there was anything special about praying mantises, especially in regards to their hearing, but it turns out they actually have supersonic hearing, like similar to that of a bat. I don't think that that is a coincidence when it's combined with the fact that like what we know of Subin in the Nap of a Star music video. Like, he's shown with larger ears and he's listening to the ground and the sky. Praying mantises, when they're being attacked by bats who are their natural nocturnal predator, their ultrasonic hearing actually picks up on their attack and they're able to dodge it by diving into the ground. I think Soobin probably saw this and decided that if he was going to have something special or unique about him, it would be that. However, many people speculated that this has to do with the dream meaning for mantis. If a praying mantis appears in your dream, it is to bring tranquility, peace, and calm into your life, because these are often associated with such things. This trope is really common in a lot of films, so this interpretation makes a lot of sense. It's also that it could have been both, because it could have just used a bat, but they didn't. They chose to use a praying mantis, so that's possible that it was a dual meaning. Another dream meaning is that it can also be a message to stop like thinking so much and overthinking, and to maybe wait on a decision until you have all the angles. And I hope that Big Hit isn't suggesting that I stop analyzing their music videos, because that's not gonna happen. And then once again, the flower here is an orchid, and specifically it's the Vanda orchid. And this literally took me ages to find. There's, oh my god, so many varieties of orchids. Also, blue orchids are really rare as an orchid type. I just wanted to mention that. Generally, in English, orchids used to be quite rare because of their exotic nature and their difficulty to keep. So they were a very large profession of love if you gave one to somebody, because of just how hard they were to get. They also symbolize virility, strength, and grace. And that's two flowers with the meaning of grace now. Color-wise, it does seem that orchids aren't as important, since it's more about the general idea of how rare the orchid is rather than the color. Like, it's not like a rose or a tulip where the color means something. It's just a general, like, you know, this is what it means. In Korea, the orchid seems to be considered a plant that symbolizes nobility. Once again, this is probably because of the more tropical varieties that were historically difficult to obtain. Nowadays, they also symbolize love. So now we get to move on to the next scene. We move into another like quick panning shot where we see the Delphiniums again, and we get a glimpse, like a first glimpse at just the new flower, which we'll talk about in a bit when it's actually in focus. I think it is more important to note that this scene, as we go through the members, actually gets darker with something like kind of like eclipsing their faces, like a shadow. Subin's is in full lights, and you'll notice that Kai's is as well. And this might be representing like the eclipse imagery that we saw on the introduction website. The full extent of what this means has yet to be revealed, but I just wanted to note it for you guys, since it's easy to miss when you're just looking at the videos one at a time. Okay, so this next scene is a really important scene. We see Subin with like little peaks of light appearing on his face. These are shapes of flowers, and this is important because it's different for every single member. So Subin's shape is a flower, and if you've seen my like really long theory video, I assume that flower will be the subtitle of one of the albums. That's just one of like the possibilities of what it could be. I think that Dream Chapter Star is from Yeonjun's point of view. For example, I don't know if it'll still be called Dream Chapter, but I'm gonna assume it is. Dream Chapter Flower would be from Subin's point of view. That subtitle will be like whatever like person the story is taking place from. Oh my gosh. Also here we get a few close-ups of Subin's ear, which kind of seems like it's focused just on his profile, but I'm guessing it's a subtle way to shoot his ear as the focus. We also get a few other close-ups, but as of right now I can't really tell if it's aesthetic or if it's important. So moving on. Immediately see that new flower again, and where is he holding it? Again, in front of his ear. You already roughly know what the ear means, so let's look at the flower. The flower is an anemone. Yes, I can never say that right. The anemone provides like a really interesting problem, because in different cultures, this flower tends to symbolize different things, and they tend to be on totally opposite ends of the spectrum, and there's a long list of several different meanings that they have, but they don't specify like what culture each one is from, so it's really hard to tell like how relevant each of them is. So I kind of just went like with the general things that I could find that were like most relevant. So from what I could find in English, The white anemone appears to be like the most delicate and thus conveying sincerity. This is pretty standard for most white anemone descriptions. Once again, Subin's wearing white. Just wanted to say that. Subin possibly be listening for the sound of someone's pure sincerity. Also, when the petals of an anemone close, it signifies that rain will be coming. So similar to the praying mantis, the anemone seems to be able to predict an event before it happens and react accordingly. There are many stories that surround the anemone, which signifies two things. Protection because of a betrayal, or like protection against it, and then also just the betrayal in general, of course. These famous stories include the flowers that are being born from Aphrodite's tears over the death of her lover Adonis, and the blood of Jesus on the cross, which is why we see those flowers in a lot of paintings of him. In a way, they can also sort of symbolize loss. To solidify all of this, in the Korean drama The Great Seducer, the character Lee Se-ju shows a photo of an anemone to his mother in the hospital and tells her the following: "Betrayal, helpless love, empty love. Thanks for being there for me. I will give you my everything. Even if you do not love me, I still love you." It has so many meanings, and every one of them is sad, and this is my flower from now on. Remember that. So that matches up really well with our previous findings. A love that you give even without receiving it in return. It's sincere, and maybe you were betrayed to end up where you are. Subin might be listening for this kind of love, and he might even find that in Yeonjun. The video ends with Morse code, something that I think everyone knows at this point. It's really obvious. Subin's Morse code is tomorrow, and this matches up with his photo card in the album that translates roughly to, "If you and I are together, tomorrow will be different. I believe it." Maybe he's looking for people who, when they're together, will be able to change tomorrow and make it better. To no longer move away or hide from danger, but to change things so that he doesn't need to fear the danger anymore. His Morse code really seems to like encompass the group name, which is Tomorrow by Together. So literally, you know, it just encompasses it really well. We will reach tomorrow by being together today. It's that kind of feeling. It's really soft and super meaningful. That's it, I think, for this video. Once again, if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have anything else to add, or if you liked the video, or if you have your own theories and I missed something. Totally possible, let's be real. But yeah, if I did miss it, I will address it in a future video. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so that you know right away when I've released the next video. And yeah, my goal is kind of to like analyze one of these videos like maybe once a week. It does take a while to put it together. I would like to do it more frequently than that, but I'm not sure I can actually do it that fast. So yes, I'm trying to cover as much of the information as accurately as possible and trying to make it as cohesive as possible so that the information that I give you guys is actually relevant, because these videos do tend to be pretty long. As it is, I will see you guys next time. Bye! We've gotten VCR. We've gotten another dream meaning. Oh my god, there's a loud truck outside. I'm so sorry. Please drive away. No, drive away. Oh my god. Just go. Go, you're done. You've got it. Okay, not quite. How's your day going, guys?